Welcome back, student. This is third lecture on electrostatics, and first two lecture we have learned about what electric force and electric field. Little bit about electric potential also we have learned due to what some object like a ring, hollow sphere, conducting sphere, non-conducting sphere, wire, and all these things. Okay. So in this lecture we are talking about what electric flux. Electric flux. We represent by what? Phi symbol. Okay, but before I go to electric flux, let's discuss little bit about what again electric field. I mean the field lines. Okay, so before this, I'm talking about little bit about again what electric field lines. Okay, electric field. You understood what is electric field? Is a space around a charge where the electric force can be experienced. Right now, what is electric field lines? Then these are imaginary, not real. Okay. These are imaginary lines which represent the direction of what field at any point. You know that you have positive charge, right? And you know that this field lines we represent like this one, right? Now outward, they are coming from the charge, right? And negative charge means you know that the field lines end to a negative charge like that way, right? So some basic general knowledge we are talking about what field lines, some few properties. Okay, yes. So let's discuss what these are field line, how you define them. So these are imaginary lines, okay, imaginary curves, which represents direction and what magnitude of electric field. Correct. These are just imaginary curves, okay. But that's very important thing we have. Look here. In electric field, what happens? Field lines start from positive charge and end at what? Negative charge. This we know. But that doesn't return back. That doesn't go from negative charge to positive charge. Look here. If you talk electric field lines, okay, electric field lines and magnetic field lines. What's the difference? We have learned magnetic field lines also, right? Suppose you talk magnet. Look at this is your magnet, north pole, south pole. Then what happens? North pole is just like positive charge, south pole is just like equivalent to what your negative charge. Field lines start from north pole, they goes and come toward south pole, right? In air, outside. But that doesn't stop here. They again continue. They go from south to north pole inside the magnet. So in air, how the field lines are going from north pole to south pole, but inside the magnet they goes from south to north pole, so they make a closed loop. What they make? Closed loops. Correct. But this thing doesn't happen in our electric field lines. This is a plus q, this minus q. Field lines start from here and end at this point, right? Like this one. But what happens? You saw that never goes back, like minus q to q, that doesn't go back. So what you call these lines are always make open loops. It's a very important difference. Magnetic field lines always make closed loops, okay, but electric field lines always make what? Open loops. Correct. Okay. Then other property is what? Okay. This is a simple comparison. Your field lines or always what happens? Perpendicular to what surface? Means these field lines, suppose surface is given, sphere is given, charge sphere, they start perpendicular to surface, the end also what? Perpendicular surface always. Okay, field lines are always what? Perpendicular surface. Suppose I draw this shape of surface, suppose it has positive charge q, then field lines will come outward. So every point they will be what? Perpendicular, like that one. Correct. This is okay. If I draw a line like this way, then this is now a wrong picture. So this line is not perpendicular to this surface at this point, right now. Not perpendicular. This is a perpendicular, you say. So this is okay, but this is wrong. Then suppose you draw like this one, this is also okay, right? Or if I draw like that way, then this is what? Wrong. This is not perpendicular. So always field lines are perpendicular to what surface is positive charge, they will start perpendicular, negative charge, they will end perpendicular, but always are perpendicular to what? Surface of that body. Okay, correct. Then what happens? Okay, you're like, okay, so if you have like crowded field lines, okay, represent what? Stronger field. Actually the intensity of electric field is told by like how many intense lines you have, how many number of lines, how much close they are. Okay, for example, this question was asked in our exam. I am discussing here. They said field lines in some space varies like this way. Okay, this is the direction of field lines, okay, represented like this one. Then they gave 2 points. They said one point A, one point what B. Then they asked that at what point the field is what stronger. So 3 field lines only we have, but here look here, this 8 point they are crowded, they are close, but here there is a distance between them, right? Distance has increased, right? So they are not crowded. So field at what point A is greater than what field at point B, correct? Yes. Okay, so crowded lines means what? More field, correct na? Okay, I understand that field lines are always perpendicular to surface. Okay, field lines, electric field lines are always open loop, while magnetic fields are always what? Closed loop, correct na? Okay, then see like this, your tangent to, like I said already here, okay, tangent to field lines represent what? Direction of field, okay, at that point. If you take a tangent to field lines at any point, then that will be the direction of what your field simply, okay. Or also what is important property? These two fields never cross each other. Two field lines, they never cross each other, okay. Two field lines never cross each other. Why? If two field lines are crossing each other, then what happens? There will be what? Two direction of the field, which is not possible. We have only one direction, right? So two field lines cannot cross each other, right? Okay. So these were some basic properties about what field lines we have discussed, okay? Yes. Now look here, we were talking about mainly flux. So let us write here now flux again. Electric flux we were talking. Okay. Like we have learned magnetic flux, exactly same way we have what? Electric flux. So how you define magnetic flux? Remember, some magnetic field lines are crossing a unit area, right? Now magnetic field crossing a unit area, that's called what? Your magnetic flux. Exactly same here, okay. What is electric flux? What is electric flux? It is the number of field lines, okay, crossing a unit area. How many field lines are crossing the given area? That's called your electric flux. How we represent this? Okay, flux is equal to what? Electric field. Generally we write what? For closed surface you can write like this one, electric field dot area, or in general form you can write like this way, E A S cos theta also. So watch carefully, it's a dot product of electric field over the given area, right now. So remember that here in this formula, your cos theta is what? Angle between what? Field line direction, okay, and area vector. Same thing we did in magnetism also. Flux, magnetic flux was like magnetic field, you said that like magnetic field into what area, right now? And I remember that formula only. So B A cos theta, remember, exactly same here, E S cos theta, B A cos theta, here also what? E S means area only and cos theta. Okay, let's talk about a unit of this, okay. So what is SI unit? Look here, electric field unit we know. We write electric field is what? Force by charge. We write Newton per coulomb, right now? Area. So like electric field is what? Newton per coulomb. Force by charge, F by Q, right? Into what? Area means what? Meter square. So you can write like this unit. You can write Newton meter square per coulomb. Or you can write in terms of potential also. Because electric field is what? Potential by distance, volt by length, into area means what? Meter square L square. So even L can cancel. So you can also write volt meter. So 2 unit you can write Newton meter square per coulomb, or you can write also what? Volt meter. Okay. This is SI unit. Then what type of quantity is this? As a scalar quantity, keep in mind, okay. Scalar quantity. What's the meaning of this? If you have positive charge, you will get positive flux, okay, and if you have negative charge, we call it what? Negative flux. So if you want to add 2 flux, 3 flux, okay, n number of any flux you want to add, just algebraical rule you have to use, okay, plus minus, okay. So angle is clear to you. Then let's see, actually now the easier format of this formula, like this flux is what? E dot S. Even simple way we write with the help of what? Gauss law, okay. So let's write Gauss law, right. What Gauss law says, you have a closed surface and it contains some charge, then what is the net flux coming out from that surface is simply equal to what? Some constant, that's called 1 by epsilon naught into what? How much charge that surface has, okay. So I'm just writing shortcut that the net flux coming through a closed surface. So Gauss law we write only for what? Closed surface, okay. The net flux coming through a closed surface is simply equal to what? Equal to 1 by epsilon naught times, this is a constant, times the net charge in that given surface. And how much net charge we have inside that surface into what? 1 by epsilon, that gives what? Net flux. Means what you can write, this flux which you write closed integration of E dot S is simply equal to what? Q upon what? Epsilon naught. This is simple form of what? Your flux. Flux is simply equal to what? Charge, net charge, okay. What is total? We can have plus charge, minus charge inside that surface, only that inside that closed surface only we are talking. So you write net flux by epsilon naught, that gives what? Net flux coming through that surface, okay. Watch carefully, small things we talk here. So if you watch this formula, see that flux looking like flux depends on electric field and area, but does not depends, okay. It depends only on what? Your charge. So I am writing small points here. Flux does not depend upon field and what? Area. It does not depends on your field and area. How much field you have, how much electric field you have, and how much what is the area of that or that closed surface, right? It does not depends. Or area, let's talk some few more words, like you say right flux. Okay, let right. I said like it does not depends on area. Does not depends on area and field. Okay, what's the meaning of this? Okay, suppose you have a small sphere of radius r and you put some charge q here, correct? Then you will getting some flux phi. If you put the same charge into a bigger sphere of radius what? 2r, right? Same charge q. In both cases, the flux coming out will be same. Some flux is coming out, positive charge is flux comes out, negative charge is flux goes in, right? So listen carefully that what is the flux coming in both cases exactly equal to what? Q upon what? Epsilon naught only. Does not depends on area or we can say size, right? Your size of that what? Your object, your surface. Small sphere, big sphere, same charge is placed, plus Q, the flux coming out will be what? Same. Also it does not depends on what? Shape also. Flux does not depend upon what? Shape of what? Your area. Correct. Shape of, you say, closed surface, right? You are taking some closed surface, right? Does not depend size, like same sphere is also sphere of bigger size, small size, does not depend. Also does not depend shape. What shape you have? Suppose the charge was placed in this sphere of radius r, this is a plus q. Flux will be same. We put this same into what? Another some like this type of area, or you put like in any picture, doesn't matter, okay. The net flux coming in all three cases will be what? Just what you say, flux is q upon epsilon naught only. You put in this type of shape, that type of shape, any type of shape, just a closed surface only we need, flux will be what? Same. Number of field lines coming through that will be what? Exactly same. Also, it does not depends on where you put the charge, location of the charge. Also, flux does not depend upon what? position of charge inside closed surface. Where you putting charge, okay, it also does not depends on that. Means this like a sphere you had, you suppose you put exactly at center, correct, is same as what you put at charge like at this point plus q, or is it the same what you can put at any point like you want to put here, right? In all cases your flux will be simply q upon what epsilon naught. Does not depend size, does not depend shape, does not depends upon what position, right? Now also look here, few more points. Also it does not depends upon what charge which are outside, correct? Charge not inside the surface, some outside charge is there, also does not depends upon them. So flux does not depend upon field, you can write field also, field and charges present outside the surface. Let's see some example. I am saying if you have external flux, okay, external field, you have external charges are there which are outside that surface, then that will not affect the flux coming or going through that surface. For example, like here, this is a sphere, inside this you have placed q1 here, and you place minus q here, and outside you have placed q3 here, and you have placed what, plus q4 here. Then somebody asks you what is flux coming through this surface. So for this answer will be what, just q1 minus q2 net charge inside this by epsilon naught only. These two charges will not affect what your flux. Or this is one picture like you can have like this way also. Suppose some field was like this one, this external field is there, okay, and you put a body inside this field, okay, you putting a body like this, so body will look like that way, this you put a sphere. Then somebody asks you what is the net flux coming through this sphere, what is the answer again, flux will be what, 0, right? External field is there, so no flux is coming through this surface, okay, because flux going in is flux coming what, out, so net flux due to external what, 0. You have some external charges, external field, that will not produce flux. Suppose some charge was placed inside this sphere, then that will produce what, flux. In this condition flux will be what, 0, okay. Let's see some more examples. Suppose like this is what, some charge, point charge, and is producing field like that way, right? Then what you do, you put a small sphere here, correct? Na? Yes. Then I ask you that what is the flux coming through this surface, okay? Okay. I ask you what is flux, net flux through this surface, what is the answer? 0, because it's an external charge. Some internal charge inside the closed surface there, then will produce flux. External charges like here, I gave example like Q3 and Q4, they will not affect flux coming through this surface. External field also there is a field, that will also not produce any flux, net flux, that will not contribute to what, your net flux. We need inside only. So if you watch carefully, like does not depends on what field, does not depends on what your close shape, area and position of the charge, also does not depends on outside things, outside charge or outside external flux, depends only on what your the net charge close and closed by the surface. So write a last sentence properly, right? You said that flux depends only on net charge enclosed by that given surface. How much net charge is enclosed by that given surface inside the surface we have, then only depends on that thing only. But one more small thing where it can depends upon what this thing, look here. Suppose this we are assuming that closed surface we are talking is what, vacuum is there, okay. Suppose the closed surface is contains some like material, okay, suppose a water loop or something, okay, anything. So medium is given, then here it will change, you have to write here what, medium, correct? This is permittivity of free space, you have to write permittivity of medium is q upon like E, you will write at epsilon, right? So depends on what, medium also, but we will generally will not see this, okay, yes. So depends on charge, depends on what, this. Correct. Does not depends upon field, does not depends upon area, shape of the area, size of the area, position of the charge inside that field. External charges, external field, they will not contribute toward your flux. Okay. 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 See, your flux will be 0. Flux will be 0 under what condition? Let's see. Okay. When flux can be 0? If net charge enclosed by surface, right, is what? 0. If the net charge inside that closed surface is given as 0, then your flux will be 0. Suppose you put a dipole is placed, okay. If a dipole is placed inside a closed surface, look here, you know meaning of dipole is closed surface and you put a charge dipole here, that's called minus q, that's called plus q, distance of 2d, right? Now what is the net flux coming? It will be 0 because net charge becomes plus q, minus q becomes what? 0, so flux will be 0 if a dipole is placed inside a closed surface. Either they directly say the net charge enclosed by surface is 0, then flux is 0, or you put a dipole inside there, then also what? Your flux will be what? 0. Okay. Or already I discussed like here, I have that if external charge and external flux, external field, they will not contribute to your flux. Okay. Okay. Flux due to what? External charge and what? Field. Once more I give an example of this. Already I gave example. Once more, look here. I am saying that this is a field, external field, and you put any closed surface here, anything, right? Now, then I ask you what is net flux coming through this closed surface? What is the answer of that? You say flux will be what? 0. External field will not contribute to flux through a given closed surface, right? Now, also charge, correct? Okay. Now we discuss some more example, how they have asked an exam. They ask a famous cube problem. Let's do that. Cube problem. What happens? You have a cube like this. It's exactly similar you learn in chemistry, atomic structure. Look here. This is a cube of side A. Then suppose you put your charge at different positions, then what is the flux coming through this cube we want to learn, okay. So look here, simplest way to put flux is what? At this point. This is called body center, right? Now suppose case 1 we talk, charge placed at what? Body center. You put your charge at body center, correct. Then they will ask you what is net flux coming through the whole cube, okay. Then flux, okay, flux, right, net flux through the whole cube, right? How much flux will come through whole surface? What is the answer? Q upon what? Epsilon naught. This charge is placed at center, correct? Na? Correct. So what is net flux coming through all 6 surfaces? We have 6 surfaces, right? Yes, 6 sides are there. So net flux coming through all is what? What? Q upon epsilon naught. But they ask any one side, any one surface, flux through any one face. There are 6 faces, right? And this charge placed symmetrically at the exactly center of the body center, right now. So flux going in all direction, all side will be equal in magnitude. So flux through any one side, they are asking then 1/6 of Q upon what? Epsilon naught. 6 sides we have, 6 faces we have. So flux going through all 6 faces what? Equal in magnitude, right now. So any one face is what? 1/6 of the total charge, total flux. Total flux is just Q upon epsilon naught. Now what you do? This charge you put somewhere else. You can put at face center, this face center, these all are what? Face center, right now? Yes. You put at what? Face center here. This is what location A, location B we are talking, face center, okay? Suppose this is your face center. Charge placed at face center means B location. Where you already know in chemistry that when you put your atom here or a charge at the face center, then how much charge will be inside, how much will be outside. So half of the charge will be inside, right? Yeah, if you put at a face center, how much charge inside this cube? Half only, right? So what is net flux coming? Then in phase net flux will be simply what? 1 by 2 of what? Q upon ln epsilon naught. How is 1 by 2 coming? Q by 2. Q charge you have placed at the phase center, then how much charge will be inside that cube? Just Q by 2, correct? No? Okay. Then suppose you put at where? Here. This is called what? Corner. You put your charge at C point. Charge place at any corner like C. So again you know that in chemistry that you put your atom here, how much it contribute inside, how much part will be inside? What is the answer? 1 by 8. Actually this you can understand by another way also. You put a charge here, Q, then if you put a similar cube here, then it will be completely what? Inside. Okay, let me, this I will discuss separately. I will give another example, like half body is given, you can complete it. That I will discuss separately. First focus here. If a charge is placed at what corner, how much it contribute? It contribute what? 1 by 8, means 1 by 8 of the charge will be inside that cube. So what is flux coming? Just 1 by 8 upon Q upon what? Epsilon naught. A charge placed at the corner, any corner, Q value you put, then how much part of the charge will be inside the cube? What is the answer? 1 by 8. Okay, this is coming from chemistry also, right? Or last, where you can put? You can put at the edge, like you can put what here. You put your charge at this point, D point, right? Charge place at any what? A center, right? Now you put at here, then how much it will contribute? 1/4, right? You put a charge Q here, then 1 by 4 of the charge will be what? Inside the cube. So what is the flux coming through that? 1 by 4 upon Q upon what? Epsilon naught, right? Suppose negative charge, then the same flux only go into the what? Cube. And in question they can ask like 2 charge or 3 charge placed at the same time, 1 charge placed at center, 1 charge placed at corner, right? Now then they asking what is net flux coming? So due to center plus due to what? Corner, you have to add them. If negative charge given anyone, you have to subtract them. Flux is what? Scalar. Positive charge positive flux, negative charge what? Negative flux. That's all, right? Okay, so this is what your cube problem. And they ask like this type of question also. I give some example. Suppose I say this is what a hemisphere, and a charge is placed here at the center of this hemisphere, correct? Then they are asking how much flux is coming from this hemisphere. Okay, so I write like half surfaces, okay, some name, okay, just to understand only. So if what I did, I had a charge and I placed at the center of a hemisphere, then I'm asking how much flux is coming through this part, okay, this hemisphere. What is the answer? When you put at center, then you know half charge will be inside this hollow sphere. Or you can understand that if you want to complete this an identical half sphere, you have to put on the top like this, okay. If you put an identical half sphere like it, then it will be closed surface now, right? Then net flux will be what? Q upon epsilon naught. But it's the half only. They are asking to half part, that's half part, right? So how much flux coming here? So you say Q is equal to 1 by 2 of Q upon epsilon naught. Look here, another example. Suppose you have this picture, what? Cone, and a charge is placed at the center of the cone here, right? Center of cone plane placed here. Then they are asking what is the flux coming through this surface? Again same, you can put another cone here. Now this will be a complete closed body, right? Now then how much flux will come? Q upon epsilon naught. We are asking about half part, so half of that answer. So what is the answer? Q will be 1 by 2 of Q upon what? Epsilon naught. Let's say example of that cube itself. Cube means part. Suppose this is a cube. Example 1. Okay, see here. This is a cube. And what I am saying, where I am putting a charge, I am putting here. That case, face. Okay. So I am putting on this face. Then I am asking how much flux coming through this now complete cube. So this also you can put. You put another like sphere over. This closed sphere over this, cube over this. I cannot draw it properly, but exactly half you put over this, then look at complete. Then will it will exactly at center, right? Now then flux will Q upon epsilon naught. So they are asking this much only, that is placed on the surface, okay, this face. Then what is flux coming? You say 1 by 2 upon Q upon epsilon naught. So this is the same like that and only, placed at the face center, okay. Yes, so these also like face center of a what? Closed like your sphere, right? Yes, okay. Some questions they have asked like this way also. How they ask? Okay, I will write few words. Once a question was asked, they said there is a road, okay, of length L and it has a north charge Q. Okay. Sorry, my just phone rang, so I got disturbed. Let's start it again. So, okay, I was talking some questions they have asked in our exam. So one question was asked like the road was given, it has length L and some charge was spread over this uniformly. So they gave linear charge density lambda. Then they say some part of the road was inside a hollow sphere. Then they asked that what is the net flux coming through that hollow sphere. Let's write. A road of length L and uniform charge density is placed as shown in figure. Find flux through hollow sphere or shell. Okay, something was given. So how they gave, actually this was a sphere, hollow sphere, and road was placed like this one is a road. This has radius r. Okay, so this was a road and placed like this way. Some part of this road was inside this, and this has uniformly spread some charge. Okay, positive charge was given Q amount. Length of was given L, and this much length inside this was given L by 3. Correct. A road uniformly charged, linear density was given lambda something, okay, and charge was given Q. L by 3 part of this road was inside the hollow sphere. Then they are asking what is the net flux coming through the hollow sphere. Flux is what? Q upon what? Epsilon naught, right? So we want to know what is the charge inside that hollow sphere. Means charge is what? How much charge we have on this road for this much part. Correct na? Yes. We know that what we know that your lambda is what? Q by L, right now, and this is uniformly charged, right now. So total charge density what? Total charge by total length. So what is the charge on this much part that we are calling Q? Q by 1 length, L by 3. Correct. Directly also you can answer charge proposed to what length? Length inside is L by 3. So charge also becomes what? Q by 3. So we are calculating how much charge this rod has on inside part. This much part of the rod is inside its hollow sphere. How much charge we have on this? Okay, so it's coming how much? It's coming Q is coming simply Q by what? 3. This much charge we have inside. So what is flux answer? Flux will be what? 1 by 3 of Q upon what? Epsilon naught. That's your answer. The flux coming. Okay. Yes. Okay. This answer they can write in terms of this also. Lambda may be given, length may be given. Then Q you can write what? Lambda into L. So you can write here lambda into L answer also. Okay. Yes. Okay. Another question was like this. A ring question was asked. A uniformly, I am writing few words, charged ring is placed inside a hollow sphere as shown in figure. Same question, find flux through hollow sphere, okay, or shells. Look here, they had a ring. This is a ring of some radius, and this ring was uniformly charged. Means it has charge, say positive charge, negative charge, some charge was given like this, say Q charge, and this was placed inside a hollow sphere like that. This is what your hollow sphere, okay, and this was your ring. So some part of ring, and this was given something like angle was given here. This was given something like alpha. Correct. So actually you want to calculate, this is what your hollow sphere. Let me represent like this one. This is what your hollow sphere, and that's what your ring. So they are asking us that calculate the flux coming through what? This hollow sphere. So we need what is charge inside the hollow sphere. Charge means the charge on this much part of the ring. This is the arc of that ring or circle right now. What is the charge on this much part that you want to calculate? Let's call that Q days. Q, small q. Net charge is given what? Capital Q. Correct. So formula remains same. Flux is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. We want to calculate what is charge inside this hollow sphere, means charge on this much part, which is subtending an angle of what? Alpha. Correct. Look here, how will answer? Again, linear charge density. Okay, charge proportional to what? Length. Correct. Q charge is spread over the complete length. Correct. Yes. We want to calculate how much charge spread on this much part only, right? This alpha. So look, you can directly also answer that Q will be what? Total charge Q. Correct. This charge is spread over what? What is angle? Total 2 pi angle, right? And we want the charge on what? Alpha angle, right? Are you understanding this? Q is the charge spread over what angle? 2 pi, complete ring. Then how much charge spread on Q? On the angle, so writing alpha here, okay, in radian. Thus your answer just 5 upon what? Alpha upon 2 pi, that you can write. So when you put it here, you say that, what is the answer? It will be Q upon epsilon naught into what? Alpha upon 2 pi. That's the flux coming through what? This hollow sphere. That's a very simple question, right? Okay. Another question I remember they have asked like this way. They said that there was a cylinder, hollow cylinder something, and some surface name were given like this, okay. A and B are the circular faces, okay, and C is the curved surface right now. Then they said some charge was placed here, Q, inside this hollow cylinder, and they said that the flux coming through curved surface was given to us. That was given phi symbol. Listen carefully. What they said, a charge Q was placed inside a cylinder, hollow cylinder, and the flux coming through surface C, means curved surface, was given as phi symbol. Then they asked that what is flux coming through any, like one surface was, what is flux coming through what? This surface, let's call phi days. So you see that this charge placed inside cylinder, so we have three surface which closing this your body right now. This area, that area, and what? The curved area right now. So when you write flux formula, this flux will come through what surface? Flux through A surface, flux through B surface, plus flux through what? 3 surface should be equal to what? Q upon what? Epsilon naught, right? Net flux coming through all these 3 surface should be equal to what? Q upon epsilon naught. Now what is given to us? The flux through surface C was given, okay. So let's write this Q days symbol because this was given Q symbol. The flux coming through curved surface was given as Q symbol. So look here, Q days is what? Okay. Okay, we know, right? This we already wrote, like this much is enough. Look here, this much is enough. Flux through surface A, flux through surface B, plus flux through surface C, all should be equal to Q upon epsilon naught. Now you see that I said this QC was given as what? Phi symbol. So this is, look here, again you see that this surface A and surface B are equal. Area exactly equal. So the flux coming through A and B also will be equal. So this you can write as one time only, right? You can write 2 times of flux through surface B. Surface A and surface B are exactly same. So A, flux coming them through also what? Exactly same. They asking the what is flux coming through surface B. Okay, so we wrote this together and I wrote out flux 2 times of what? Surface B, and surface C was given phi symbol, Q upon what? Epsilon naught. So this is your answer, that they are asking what is 2 phi B will be equal to Q upon epsilon naught minus phi, and you can send that down. So that was your some answer. You said the flux through surface B was 1 by 2 times of Q upon epsilon naught minus phi, like this, okay. Very easy equation they are asking us, okay. So Q problem is very important. External charges, external field does not contribute to net flux through a given closed surface, right now. Yes, sometimes they are asking very simple also, like this also question they have asked. They said like this one, some surface was given like this one. They said here place plus Q1, here is minus Q2, here what? Plus Q3. They said here place Q4, here place Q5. They are asking what is the net flux coming through this surface. So what is the answer? These external charges will not contribute your flux. So flux will be simply inside charge, plus Q1 minus Q2 and plus Q3. So Q1 minus Q2 plus Q3 by what? Epsilon naught. That will be your answer simply, right? Okay. So this was all about what? Electric flux. Okay. So here I can talk 1 or 2 more topic, like I have to discuss the electric field and potential relations and motion of a charge inside a uniform electric field, like we have learned like motion of a charge inside a uniform magnetic field, how it moves. Okay, exactly same way we have to learn here also. Then next topic will be what? Potential and what? Potential energy relations. Okay, then capacitance I will teach you separate lecture. Okay, so we talking some field and potential. Okay, this relation is very important because many times they have asked in our exam. Okay, so how we correctly write? We know that, already know that electric field is what? Negative potential gradient dV by dr, right? Electric field is equal to what? Negative what? Potential gradient, potential by change in what? Distance, right? Or you want to write potential, then you can write what? Integration of electric field over what? The given length, right? That way also. Maximum time they asking like this format only. They give us a potential equation to us. That potential varies according to this equation. Find the electric field at some coordinate will be given. Again, this question I have asked in 1 dimension or 2 dimension or 3 dimension also they have asked. Okay. Suppose I am saying the same follows 1 dimension, like your potential varies according in x direction alone. You can just differentiate this and put the coordinate. That's your answer. Suppose is given about multiple coordinates, then we write in Cartesian form. So how we write in Cartesian form? So same formula, if multiple coordinates are given, how you can write? Electric field will be equal to like minus, you differentiate that given with respect to x, correct? Yes, when you differentiate with respect to x, then y and z will be what? Constant. Okay, then you differentiate with respect to what? Y, then you will see that x and z will be constant. Then you differentiate with respect to what? Z, then you keep x and y as a constant. Add all them together, put their coordinate. That's your answer. Here answer will get in what? Vector form. Okay, if more than 1 coordinates are given to you. So this question was asked at least 4 times in our exam. It's very important. Please focus here. Let's discuss some numerical here. Okay, I'm writing like potential in a region varies according to some equation. Let's write V is equal to what? 3x square plus 10x plus what? 2. Find field. Either they can give directly distance, that x is equal to 2 meter, x is equal to 3 meter, or they can give coordinate like I say 1, 2, minus 1, some coordinate is given to you. At this coordinate you have to find what is the net field. So this is 1 dimension, right? Only one variable. Your field is varying, so potential varying in what? X direction alone. Okay, easy equation. So let's answer this. You say that E is equal to what? Minus dV by dr. So minus outside. Let's differentiate. Given equation says 6x plus 10. Correct, and coordinates are given 1, 2, minus 1. So when you put this coordinate, you say that minus 6, x you putting me 6 plus what? Your 10. You say what is the answer? Minus 16 volt per meter. Correct. Any problem? This is very easy, right? Now same question I asked in what? Multiple coordinate or Cartesian form. This is called Cartesian form. Okay, means you feel potential varying in what? Multiple direction, x, y, z, all. Okay, so same question only. You write again. Suppose I am saying if potential varies, okay, or varies according to some equation will be given to you. Let's write V is equal to what? 3x square z plus 4y square z cube plus let's say 2y cube into what? X square, something. Okay, anything like potential is given and they are saying find field at some coordinate given like 1, 0, minus 1. Okay, some coordinate given. We have to find what? Net field at this coordinate. Okay, yeah. So now we have to write what is in Cartesian form because multiple variables are given. Your potential varying in different directions. Okay, x, y, z all are given. So what you will do? This concept you have to write. So write first that field in what? This coordinate, right? dV by dx and I. Okay, first you write like a dV by dx. So you have to differentiate with respect to x and keeping y and z as constant. Okay, when differentiating, this is also called partial differentiation, right now. So when differentiating with respect to x, y and z will be constant. So let's differentiate this equation. You're doing with respect to x. So look here becomes what? it becomes 6x into z. Correct na? Here there is no x, so all are constant, means what? 0. Plus here x is there, yes, so it becomes what? 4y cube into what? X. Correct na? Yes. Now what you have to do, this is what in I direction. Correct. So let's put the coordinate, all coordinate you have to put, and that's called what? I direction field. So when you put coordinates here, look here, what is given? X is given 1, z is given what? -1. So this become what? -6 plus 0 and y cube. Y is given 0, so the whole term becomes 0, right? So here you're getting -6i. That's your answer, right? Same way, let's find in what? Y direction. dv dy in j direction, right? Let's find. So you're differentiating this equation now with respect to what? Y, and x and z will be what? Constant. Please write in words carefully that how you're solving this, okay? Okay. So when you differentiate here with respect to y, this term is directly 0 because there is no y here. Yes. Here y is there, so it becomes 8yz cube. Correct? Yes, correct. Then here also y, yes, there. So 6y square and x square. This is what in z direction, okay? Let's put coordinates. So this term is y is given 0. Yes, here also y given 0. So this all is coming 0, 0, right now. So what is the answer here? Simply 0. Okay. Let's differentiate in what? Z direction, okay? K direction. So with respect to z you're doing, so this becomes what? 3x square plus, here z is there, so it becomes what? 12y square z square. No z here, so 0, and this direction is what? K direction. So let's put the value x is given what? 1, so that becomes 3. Y is given here, so 0, 0 plus 0, it means what is the answer here? 3k. Okay. Now what is final answer? This way we write, okay? We add all this and negative is outside, okay? So e is equal to what? Minus x coordinate is what? -6i, y is what? 0, and plus what? 3k. Or you can write e is equal to what? 6i minus 3k. So this is what your answer. Okay, you can write this, or they can write magnitude also. Magnitude means obviously it will be what? 6 square plus 3 square, right? So that becomes 36. 36 plus what? 9. 36 plus 9 is called what? 45 Newton what? Meter. That will be your electric field, okay? Correct. Okay, I wrote little wrong here, not newtons, you should write volt per meter, okay? Electric field defining. Okay, so hope you're understanding this. I can give more example if there is not understood. Let's discuss one more example. Okay, let's discuss like this, or if it's enough, then I can give an opposite answer of this. Means potential is given to you, you have to find what? Field. So same process, only one dimension, or what? 2 dimension, 3 dimension, right now. Partial differentiation you have to do. Put I, j, k vector properly. So you will get in vector form your answer. Be careful. Then you can take their magnitude if you want. So one question I am doing opposite of this. Okay. If, okay, I am saying that what is given to you? Field is given to you, okay, and you have to find potential. Means like this way you have to do, okay. If E, directly I am writing shortcut that E in some reason is given by like 3x square, okay, plus 10x plus 2. This is given to you, okay, and I am saying that find potential at what coordinate? Some coordinate 1, -1, -1, some coordinates are given to you, and I am asking that find the potential at this coordinate. Then you will write field is given to you, you have to find potential. To write that dv is minus integration of what? E into what? Dx or dr, right now. Okay, so you have to integrate these things. So let's integrate. Minus outside, E is this into dx, so 3x square plus 10x plus 2 into what? Dx. And what is given? Potential range from origin to what? Some coordinate given, means 0 to x only variable, so x 0 to what? 1. Okay, this is x coordinate. So when differentiate this, minus outside, 3x becomes what? 3x cube by 3 plus 10x square by 2 plus 2x. This is your integration, right? Okay, 3 goes here, this goes 5 times, so you write minus outside x cube plus 5x square plus what? 2x, 0 to 1. If you put 1 here, then minus outside, this become 1 plus 5 plus 2, and when you put 0, everything becomes 0, right now, minus, we are putting 0, all are 0. So this become like 5 plus 2, it become 8, so minus 8 volt, that's what your potential. They did not ask this like this way in what multiple coordinates, like here x, y, z, all these are given, but if they give, then also you have to do what, integration, like separately. First do with respect to x, then write with respect to y, then do what with respect to z. Okay, but they never asked like this way. Okay, now let's see one more point we discuss here. This is what your field and potential relation. In next lecture, we are learning separately about what potential and potential energy. So, we will talk more about that. There is a field and potential equation, so I discuss it here. Then, one small equation they ask, like motion of charge in uniform electric field. A small point, let us discuss this. When charge moving through a uniform magnetic field, we have learned right now how it moves. It can move in a straight line, can move in a circular path, can move in a like helical path, right now, depending upon what's the angle between what the velocity and what field. Exactly same way we have to do here, that a charge is moving through a uniform electric field, then what will happen? So look here, suppose simple case you talk, if theta is what, 0 or what, 180. You have a charge and it's moving either parallel to the field, or let me write in words here, okay, charge moving parallel or anti-parallel to field, then what will happen? Okay, so I saw like this is some field, suppose these lines representing direction of the field, the direction of the field, and now some charge moving parallel or anti-parallel to this. Suppose you put a positive charge here q and moving in this direction, right? Then what happens to that charge? Positive charge, negative charge, either moving parallel or anti-parallel. So what case I took here, suppose this is direction of field and charge is moving in this direction, we are fired in this direction, okay, with some initial velocity v. Then what will happen? Positive charge, right? Yes, positive charge means experience force in direction of the field itself, right now? Yes, positive charge will experience a force in what direction? Direction of the field itself, right? Why? Because field in this direction was the meaning of the field. Field in this direction means your positive charge was here and negative charge was here, right now? Field start from positive goes toward negative. So this positive charge will be attracted toward that negative charge, right now? Or you simply say, correct meaning is what? The positive charge will experience a force in direction of the field. So this charge will start accelerating. The q charge will start accelerating, so velocity will increase. It moves what? Faster, but in a straight line only. It will not get deflected if you are moving what? Parallel. Suppose same charge is fired in this direction, positive charge fired in that direction, then what happens is velocity will reduce, deceleration will happen. So what happens? Your electric field can accelerate or deaccelerate charge, right? Depending upon how we are moving that. So what will happen in this case? Charge moving parallel, anti-parallel. So you say that charge will move in a straight line. Yes, it will move straight line, but its velocity can accelerate or what? Deaccelerate. Either its velocity will increase or velocity will decrease, and lot of questions like this we have done in magnetism, right now. Electric field and magnetic field, both questions I have done for you. So you fired positive charge in this direction, then its velocity will increase, because electric field in this direction, force experience QE will be what? In this direction only. But the charge you fired in that direction, then what will its velocity will decrease, because force is in this direction, so it will oppose the motion, so the acceleration will happen, right? So when charge moving parallel or anti-parallel, what happens? Either its velocity will increase or velocity will decrease, but it moves in a straight line. Now suppose charge moves perpendicular to your electric field. Charge moving and transverse electric field. Transverse means perpendicular. Okay, let's produce some transverse field. We can produce by parallel plates. Plates will produce a uniform field. So these are suppose positive charge. Okay, positive plate, and this is what your negative plate. So they will produce a uniform field like downward, positive plate to what? Negative plate. Correct. Remember that this a sheet of charge, plane sheet, will produce a uniform field that does not depend on distance, right? We have learned in the previous lecture. So this is what some field, and you fire some charge here. Let's say positive charge you fired in this direction with initial velocity v, horizontally we have fired. Correct. Then you know that it will deflect. It will deflect towards what your this plate, right? Negative plate hit what this plate here. Correct. So what we are interested? We are interested in calculating few things. First, we are calculating, this is called deflection. By what amount your charge got deflected, let's represent by y. Okay, that's the horizontal distance travel. Let's call that what x. And initial velocity in horizontal direction is what your v. Correct. So you want to calculate that how much time it will take to hit that plate, and main questions were what is the deflection of this your charge. So, and what is the shape of the path traced by this? Like here straight line we have, here what path it will trace. Okay, so look here. So question number 1, like I am doing here, time taken by charge to hit the plate, or you can say that to comes, okay, say to travel x horizontal distance. Okay, it's just like what your projectile motion only. If you know projectile, you can understand this. So x is nothing but what velocity into what time. So time will be what your x by v, simply equation 1. How much horizontal distance? This is velocity v, what horizontally. So horizontal velocity doesn't change, vertical velocity will change. Okay, so now what happens? Look here, I want to write equation motion about vertical direction. Okay, so I'm talking about in vertical direction. I want to find deflection in vertical direction. I'm writing equation of motion. Which equation of motion? This one, s is equal to ut plus half at square. Look here, s means what? Vertical deflection, that we call in y. So this is what your y. U, what is the initial velocity in y direction? 0, because charge we have fired in what? Horizontal direction. So initially there is no vertical velocity at all. Okay, so this u is 0, so that time becomes 0 plus half. Okay, acceleration, you know, force by mass, QE by m into what? T square. T we know from here. In terms of x and initial velocity you can write, so half QE by m into what? X square by v square, right? Yes, so this is what your deflection. What is the answer? 1 by 2. Two format you can write. You can write in time format. If time is given to you, let's say this is time, so this you can also write, or you can also write half QE by m x square by v square. So if you see this formula, everything is constant, half QE by m, and initial velocity also same, horizontal. So what is the y? Y is coming proportional to what? X square. The deflection is directly proportional to what? X square. Right now it means this is what? A parabolic curve, because the equation of parabola is what? X proportional to y square, y proportional to what? X square. Right now, so this is the equation of parabola. So the path traced by, okay, by charge will be what? Parabolic in nature. Correct? No? Yes. So path trace will what? Type of path it will trace? Parabolic, just like a projectile motion, horizontal projectile motion. Okay. Okay. So you can remember this deflection. They can ask you sometime in terms of velocity or distance, or in terms of what? Directly time also, right? Okay. So this was how a charge moves in a uniform electric field, moving parallel, anti-parallel. It moves in a straight line only, but its velocity can increase or decrease, right? It can accelerate or deaccelerate. Moving perpendicular, then it will deflect. It will follow a path which is called parabolic path. Okay, and what is the deflection, amount of deflection for the given time or given horizontal distance, right? You can find from here. That's all. Okay, so here we end the third lecture. Mainly it was based on electric flux. Okay, so next lecture we'll talk about more about what? Electric potential and what? Potential energy. Okay, till that we have done for today. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.